Protect the Ocean from Plastic Waste by Kadi, Mariam, and Dan. Table of contents. We will talk today about how does plastic reach the ocean? When did ocean pollution start becoming a major problem? Affect the ocean from the plastic waste in Saudi Arabia. Types of the ocean plastic pollution problems. Solutions to plastic pollution. Saudi Arabia and the ocean.
Today we are gonna. Hello everyone. Today we are gonna talk about protect the oceans from plastic waste. First of all, what is the definition of plastic pollution? Plastic waste or plastic pollution is the accumulation of plastic objects in the earth environment that adversely affects wildlife habitat, and humans. Plastic pollution accumulation in the environment of synthetic plastic products to the point that they create problems for wildlife and their habitats as well as for human populations. How does plastic reach the oceans? Waste dumped into the street does not remain on the street, but with strong air and rain, plastic is carried into river water through sinks that eventually lead to seas and oceans. The incorrect disposal of waste is a major contributor to the movement of garbage to water of all kinds. So basically, when you throw your garbage in any place rather than right place, it's going to find their own way to reach the ocean because of the weather conditions. The basic dependence on plastic in our consumption and mismanagement of the waste has a direct and even deadly impact on marine mammals and birds, whether by entanglement with these residues or poisoning from them. Plastic waste appearing in the seas and oceans, despite their huge quantities, represent only the top of the iceberg, where the fragmented particles of plastic represent the greatest pollution, and they can be easily digested from marine mammals, and it is almost impossible to remove them and pose a real danger to the health of marine, land, and human life. Plastic pollution can kill marine mammals directly through entanglement in objects such as fishing gear, but it can also kill through ingestion by being mistaken for food. When did ocean pollution start becoming a major problem? Plastic pollution was first noticed in the ocean by scientists carrying out plankton studies in the late of 1960s and early 1970s. And oceans still receive most of the attention of those studying and working to abate plastic pollution. The history of plastic pollution in the ocean is extensive because of plastic's long life. The material never truly goes away. It merely breaks apart into microplastic that marine animals ingest and absorb. Also, they discovered 3 types of fish in the Northeast Atlantic Ocean have been found to have polyester microplastic in their bodies. Because people often catch and eat these types, microplastic may also begin having harmful effects on humans. At least 14 million tons of plastic end up in the ocean every year. Plastic debris is currently the most abundant type of litter in the ocean, making up 80% of all marine debris found from surface waters to deep sea sediments. Plastic is found on the shorelines of every continent, with more plastic waste found near popular tourist destinations and densely populated areas.
Plastic pollution is one of the biggest threats to the ocean health. So, first of all, we need to protect the ocean of the plastic waste because about 8 million tons of plastic enter the ocean every year. And if this rate continue, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish by the year 2050. And that actually kills the fishes and also the birds. So protecting the ocean from the plastic waste is really important. Plastic products also contain substances, some of which are toxic and pose a risk to the health of organisms. Plastic negatively affects the health of marine organisms. Types of the ocean plastic pollution problems. What are the causes of plastic pollutions? There's a lot of plastic pollution causes, but I'm gonna mention two of them, which is the first one, high rates of plastic manufacturing, and the second one is low plastic recovery rate. Affects oceans from the plastic waste in Saudi Arabia. Researchers in Saudi Arabia are aware that plastic waste in the seas and oceans can harm marine animals. Plastic pollution affects land, waterways, oceans, and organisms in a bad and harmful way in Saudi Arabia and all over the world. By attaching organisms to it, swallowing plastic waste, or being exposed to chemicals that causes a lot of problems in biological functions. So now I'm gonna mention plastic damage on the oceans and the sea. So plastic products pollute water bodies by rainwater runoff, where they flow to the sea and the oceans and enter the food chains of living organisms, which results in many diseases in the long term for the fishes and animals and also humans. Moreover, in that the oceans are exposed to pollutions from plastics. So there are several solutions, and now I'm gonna mention two of them. So the first solution to save the ocean, or at least to try to save the ocean, is minimize your use of single-use plastic. Wherever you are, the easiest and the most direct way you can start is by reducing your use of single-use plastics. The second solution is recycle properly. Actually, this one should go without saying, but when you use a single-use plastic that you can recycle it, just always make sure that you recycle them.
Now, we will talk about solutions to plastic pollution. Plastic pollution is leaving behind impact for generations to come. If our current rate of pollution continues, experts predict that there will be more plastic than fish in the ocean by 2050. It's clear that we need solutions to rectify the pressing issues. This is why my group and I decided to come up with a solution to help the environment. First, the ocean cleanup. The ocean cleanup is an excellent example of collective action. Magnetic coils. Scientists have created a magnetic coil that is able to target microplastics in the ocean. Reduce your use of single-use plastic. The best way to do this is by refixing any single-use plastic that you don't need to use anymore. Recycling properly. Recycling helps keep plastic out of the ocean and reduce the amount of new plastic in circulation. In this part, I will explain to you how to recycle properly. The first step is collection. This is when you collect your plastic from your home and then sort them out. The second step is sorting. In this step, you should put the plastic based on type and color and thickness. The third step is washing. The step is to make sure that plastic is clean, doesn't have any bacteria, and is ready to be recycled. Fourth step is shredding. This is when the plastic is put into machines that breaks into smaller pieces. The fifth step is separation of plastic. This step is important because it makes sure that the plastic pieces is tested for the quality of it. The last step is compounding. This step is where the small pieces of the plastic reshaped and made into other pieces materials that we can use. Now, I'll talk to you about the contribution and efforts that Saudi Arabia made to help save the ocean. Some of the goals that Saudi Arabia is among to achieve are minimize and address the impact of the ocean acidification. By 2025, prevent and significantly reduce marine pollution. By 2035, accomplish the new national strategy for the sustainable management of waste. There is a new national strategy for the sustainable management of wastes in Saudi Arabia that is called the Regional Organization for Conservation of the Environment of the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. This strategy has many aims and goals to save the planet. Here are some of the main keys of this project. Public awareness campaigns, engagement plans with key stakeholders, engage private companies to phase out single-use plastic, and many more. In conclusion, remember, save our ocean to protect our future.
Thank you all for listening, and I hope you all have a nice, lovely day.